Yo, what up?
What's up?
How's it going, man?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Good to hear. Kirishima 2, huh?
Yeah.
Kirishima 2. Hold on, let's go look at the name of your list. Hit him with the soccer boppers.
Yeah.
Because it's a kick deck?
Yeah. It was originally a punch deck, but I decided to change it last minute.
Oh, like sock'em boppers. More fun than a pillow
Is that
fight.
what they were called?
Sock'em
Oh,
boppers.
well, you got the gist.
Now it's a soccer bopper because it's a kick deck, like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
game
yeah,
soccer
yeah.
that you play with your feet.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that your joke went 6 levels deep, and I was very impressed.
Well, now it does.
Now it does. Easy, simple. So, anywho, hit me with the elevator pitch. What's going on here?
Well, I'm trying to figure out what I want to play for Nats, and Kirishima is probably our number one on the list at the moment, considering he's what I have the most experience with thus far. But I'm trying to figure out kind of what attack package works the best, and from what I've been hearing, kicks and just earth good stuff is probably just the way to go. Because I had been testing out the fire version of the deck, and I just recently tested kind of like the same fire package but on earth, and I felt that it was kind of like not enough to get there all the time, so
Yeah,
figured I'd go back to the roots.
back to the roots. We've got to go back. So what do you need my help with? What do you need from me?
Mainly I want to kind of slim it down a little bit, and I was having kind of trouble kind of figuring out like what I wanted to do in terms of foundations, because there's a lot of really good earth foundations at the moment, and so it's kind of hard to choose what will be most beneficial.
Sure. I think that's totally fair.
Yeah, and then maybe kind of like slimming down, picking whatever attacks are probably most important.
Fair. Fair. Double check and make sure I don't miss anything. All right. So you get the luxury that me and Andrew Holder just recently made an Earth Kirishima kick list for his locals. So
Yeah.
we just get to talk about it.
Love it.
First and foremost, what's this number at?
I'd ideally like to get it around maybe 65, because 65 is typically like kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
70 might be fine as well, like sort of like 65, 70-ish.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like to have kind of like a little bit higher attack ratio in Kirishima, considering being able to cycle and draw an attack is much better than drawing more foundations.
I
So
love that. I am down. I'm very, very down. But I have a couple of things that I wanna say. So first and foremost,
Yeah.
Jab has to be in here, Frenzy has to be here, Stomp has to be here, Acceleration
Yeah.
Kick has to be here, and we have to put High Engine Kick up to a 4 of. This card is insane in our deck.
Okay.
This card's nuts.
Yeah.
Here is where we get to make some of our choices of like Back Alley,
Mhm.
Haymaker, Ignited Arrow, because I have now increased your
Yeah.
attack count by 25, and I think
Mm-hmm.
22, 23, 24 is probably where we should be, roughly.
Yeah.
Even with the new mulligans or whatever, just realize that like some games you're gonna have some non-games because like you've got 1,000 whatever,
Yeah.
but you get to fix that because of like building stuff in, and this card builds cards in, and this card builds cards in, and this card's blocked, it builds cards in, and blah 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 blah
Yeah.
blah blah.
Seizing built itself in.
Seizing built itself in. I don't
Yeah.
like Ignited Arrow in this deck, truthfully. I'm not an Ignited Arrow gamer.
Yeah.
I think that your moves should just be faster and make them all more relevant than what Ignited Arrow is doing. This card does get a card out of their hand, though, which is good. My personal opinion would be to take Ignited Arrow out altogether and put Back Alley Haymaker down to a 3 of. And then I think your attack lineup's good.
Okay. I can see that. Yeah. I like Ignited Arrow just to like pressure, 6, maybe 7 damage in Kirishima, but most of the time it's probably just gonna hit anyways. So like the chance of you actually drawing the extra card is not very slim.
So here's my thing: is I don't want to use Kirishima's ability on this card
Mm-hmm.
because all this card says is like, yes, they lose a card out of their hand, but then a card that you go to pick up just has Breaker 1, and you can't clear
Mm-hmm.
this card with Reciprocal Acceleration Kick.
True.
Right?
Very true. Mm-hmm.
Back Alley is too much value to not be playing in this deck, and Hardened Jab tactically works with Frenzy so well that you can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could like play Kirishima, drop a Recipro for later, and then just pick it up with Jab, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like you're stuck with a bunch of attacks in your hand. And so Jab is the hand fixer, which is the reason it has to stay in the deck. Arrow is just so agnostic to whatever else the engine is doing that I just don't think it needs to be here, personally.
Understandable, yeah. I mean, that was the main issue I was having with like the Fury package is you don't want to play Haymaker and Jab because you can't combo with Prominence Burn and Howitzer, but those are also like the best cards on Earth. So
Correct. Yeah, these are the cards that you want to see on like this card is the card you want to see on turn 2, right? Or you want to see it on turn 4, and you want to see 2 of them and you stun 4, right? And then you just play all these cards and then kill them.
Yeah.
So you tell me what's happening with this Ignited Arrow.
We can get rid of it.
Attaboy. We hate Jesse Cervini. All right, now Back Alley Haymaker. We currently is a 4 of because we're playing 23 attacks because of the Recipro. I think 22 is a totally fine number. If you like,
we can leave it at
Back Alley,
23, and I can just mess around with it.
Love it.
I feel like I'm drawing too many attacks, then I can just drop a Back Alley.
Love that. From here, we're now going to talk about the cards in the sideboard because I didn't put any attacks in the sideboard, which is why I think your attack lineup was all but perfect. I just had to cut a couple cards.
Okay.
First and foremost, press conference. Press conference, what it says is that on defense, you will have a completely ready board whenever you wish to swing into your opponent.
Yes.
That is its job. It is not about stringing out and making your things happen because you were going to string out either way. The question is your defense down when it gets back to your turn?
Yeah.
Proud Scion beats Rescue Completed. It is just a 1-for-1 trade with Rescue Completed. And it has a gnarly deadlock response. It's very, very good.
Yeah.
And you have the ability to reset it with things like Jab. Snack Time is a fucked up card. Discard for +1 speed stun 1 is insane. It is arguably as good, if not better, than One with Nature.
Okay. Yeah, and Deadlock.
And the Deadlock of Flip Draw card is nuts as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, this card's correct. Chivalrous Competitor. This is this card and this card will be the 2 most represented cards at Nationals. We have 2 weeks to get your Season the Advantages and Chivalrous Competitors. If you don't have them in the next 2 weeks, then you're these will be played as much as Coordinated Effort was played. Truthfully, the Earth symbol is going to be the most represented symbol. Petty Squabble is cool. Petty Squabble does some really interesting things to fight with that top response. It is kind of bad with the Enhance. Unless you are down to just block your opponent's stuff and not use the response on Kirishima. It's interesting. It's interesting how Petty Squabble works.
Yeah.
Any means necessary in conjunction with High Engine Kick, in conjunction with One with Nature, in conjunction with Snack Time, says that you get to redraw. Any means necessary, saying that High Engine Kick draws 2 is messed up. It's very good.
That's true.
High value target, Force and Surrender, classic 1-diffs. Face Shield should probably exist at a 1-of somewhere in your board or main or something. Sugar Rush Power Up is a 1-of that selectively flips a thing that matters.
True.
As well as when it matters, right? You just like slam them for an extra 4 damage, right? The reason the Sugar Rush Power Up is so good is because it gives +2 speed on top of the things that already give speed, right?
Yep.
Manly Passionate Guy is a cool 1-of, and Apathetic's nowhere in your deck because you have Seizing. I still think this card has a place in the main board. I think you should run 6 copies total, whether it's 3 and 3 or my suggestion of 4 and 2. It needs to exist.
Okay.
Because sometimes they don't have a card that you want to flip with Seizing, and you have to play Seizing as the action you turn you get it, right? If you don't play it now, it's gone.
Yeah.
And so being able to be patient and truly apathetic with your apathetics is just skilled gameplay. This card no longer has to burn a hole in your pocket because seizing does that for it.
Yeah.
So from there, of the cards that I listed out, what do you like? What do you not like?
Competitor is one I've wanted to put in, but it's just hard to find because there's a lot of like low block foundations under Earth that are good. But I think I kind of know where its spot could be filled in this deck, which is Homage. Kind of gets less good since we're not running as many Fury and or punches.
Yeah.
What else? I like Scion as like a 1 or 2 of.
I think one main, one side is totally fine. The question is how much do you value Momo, right? Or like mediators. That's the question, right? How much do you value like committing your Proud Scion to turn off their quick to act, right?
Yeah. I mean, most of the time it's just good value because they lose a foundation on their turn and your turn. So
this card also has Deadlock Response cancel, right? And so like it's just like it's a good ass card. It just is.
Snack Time is probably a good replacement for One with Nature because there's a lot of 2 diffs in the deck at the moment. 2 foundations. So kind of just like those and whatever else to fill spots.
Okay. I'm gonna start just doing things to your deck if that's okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Cool. So we're gonna put this up to a 4 of because it's broken. We're gonna put this down to a 2 of because it's neat. Male Bonding at a 3 of I really like, but this is your competitor slot. Is Male Bonding.
Okay.
I don't think that you need Male Bonding, but this card's very, very good. It's very easy to just like burst on turn 2 if your opponent decides to poke you. This is a deterrent more than a good card. And so like it could even be like a 1 of if you wanted to and be fine. One with Nature is gonna go up to a 3 of. And you're just going to also play 3 Snack Time.
Okay.
Yeah. Because here's the deal. This card has the response of after you discard a number of cards. It doesn't say to its ability. It just says in general. So this triggers off of High Engine Kick. This triggers off of Snack Time. So you get to choose. Do you want 1 speed stun 1 or +2 to the block modifier? And then it always gets the +1 damage.
Yeah, so it's if you discard Snack Time, it's just 1/1 plus stun 1.
Yeah. This gets to be a 2 of because you just get to go find that card back and they should be dead by then. I don't think we get to play New Training Method.
New Training Method. Okay.
I think there's too many other cards. Learning the Standards is a sideboard card. I wish we had room. Homage gets to be a 1 of. It can't be fixed is great. Brute Strength gets to be a 2 of. This card is insane. This is your Homage, right?
Yeah.
This is it. I hate Super Rejuvenation, but this card was really lame when I played against it. Whenever Doval played it, so I guess.
Yeah.
Somewhat of Style I like. Tidelift is good. This card sucks, man. Commit.
Yeah.
And it can't be on the first move. You can't poke. You've got to play 2. Or you got to get your ass beat a little bit. This card's bad.
Yeah. Understandable.
This card is just going to be replaced with this card because it's more proactive.
Yeah.
PVG was playing Manly Friendship. I'm not a fan, but that's whatever. I think it easily could be a 2 of if you really like the card. Same thing with Resistance is very
the one
good.
thing
Absorption is very good, and then check the next time where it's at.
I've kind of like thought about is having some sort of damage reduction in the deck, considering Tokoyami is probably going to be a big factor.
Sure.
So then you can kind of fight for that 7 damage on the Eijiro Inferno, considering Endeavor is also a sideboard Endeavor 2 is also a sideboard option for against Tokoyami.
Yeah.
Just say -4 damage on that one. Good luck getting it back to 7.
So here's the issue with Manly Friendship, right? If I see that you are if I see that you're doing this and I'm a decent enough player, right? And you've got the Eijiro Inferno, I'm just going to save my Summon Dark Shadow for it. It's going to get up to 8 damage, and then I don't care if you -1 it. I'm still at 7, right?
Yeah.
Like it's at 4 base, and then I play the Shadow, and it gets Respond +2, and it gets +1 from itself. You Manly Friendship by Tokoyami. You have to have another one, which means that I can't have my own one with nature, or I can't have a Summon Dark Shadow, or I can't play. I can't respond with a single basic training to give it the 1 damage. It's just so easy to outmath this that it's like, yeah, I was gonna press that button anyways. Like,
that's fair.
And then you still have to block it, right? Because like it's a Smillion.
Yeah.
But I get it. I totally get what's up.
Yeah. Plus, like, the -1 damage sometimes says you don't die.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because Kirishima's response is best used when it's at an odd number, because then you get the extra -1.
Rounded
down. Yeah. So if they put something into even numbers, then the -1 damage says you take 2 less damage.
Yeah.
Essentially.
It's very good.
So.
Let's just take a look and see. Oh, hello, Tyler. We're at 62. We did it.
Nice.
From here, we now get to figure out like, well, I've only added snack time, which is a very good card.
Yeah.
We now get to figure out what this looks like and what we want to add, what we don't want to add, while taking things out. And I think 65 cards is the highest we get to go. I don't want to go any higher than 65, and even then, I still want to, take some stuff out.
Okay. I think one of Proud Science probably pretty good. Chivalrous probably needs to see a spot. And then
we want to play 4 of this if possible. Like, do you own 4 Chivalrous?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Then we should play.
The only ones I'm missing is Seizing, but I can probably get those from Redemption anyways.
Yeah. These are the ones that I would add, and I would let high value Forcing lie. Forcing is good, but I don't think it's spectacular. Or back up to 74.
Yeah, I think it kind of became more of a sideboard card now that all of the good foundations have low blocks. So, because like most of the time, it kind of just sits on your board unless you're playing against someone with like that relies on momentum, or that's stuff in your card pool.
Sure.
So like feels good against Mineta, but most of the characters kind of just sits there.
How do you feel about Shock Absorption as a card?
The one thing I was kind of seeing was that there's not a lot of speed reduction. So if anybody can get up to like super high speed values, it's kind of making it hard to block.
Yeah.
But I mean, it can be cut if you think there's something better.
I'm at the good number. Here's my biggest issue. I think we might just have to cut Sugar Rush. We've got all these high blocks here, and it is making and all these high blocks here, right? So like, we've got Super Rejuvenation, we've got Brute Strength, which I can drop down to a 1 of and be fine. Apathetic could drop down to a 1 of and be fine, although I don't like it, right? Someone style I've already cut down. Prehensile Tail I think is too good. I already cut a Snack Time and I didn't want to.
Yeah. It's exactly the problem I was having. There's just too many good Earth Foundations. Okay. Yeah, that's understandable. And maybe Shock Absorption just is the one that has to go.
This is 66. That is a decent enough number to let it rock. If I had my way, I'd just get rid of the Super Rejuvenation, but I get how good that card is in their character. It says that pokes are terrible.
Yeah. I do like Brute Strength as a 2 of, considering that's our only way out of Deadlock.
You ready?
Well, I mean, Samoa style.
Let's do that then.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah. That's what we call a compromise.
For sure.
Still 66 cards. We still have our Sugar Rush in here.
I like it.
I like this. I like this a lot. I like the fact of like Male Bonding is in here. What a 1 of. You could easily take this Male Bonding if you don't necessarily like it, and you could replace it with like Manly Passionate. I think those are really, really cool ideas.
Swap for the Force Chivalrous.
Yeah.
If it becomes important in a matchup.
Yeah. Man, these cards are just all like so one diff. Like they just do
Yeah.
such okay
Yeah, but
things.
what I've noticed is a lot of the like you kind of run low on mid blocks if you want to run all the good foundations.
Yeah.
So all of them are now off zone blocks. So yeah, mid blocks are the lowest.
Yeah. All in all,
So
though, I think that this is where it is and where you should be testing it for the week.
mhm.
See what you like
Okay.
and you don't like. And I've left a lot of cool tech in here, like the mail bonding, like the that one apathetic, and
Mhm.
so on and so forth.
Yeah.
The fact that we've got high engine kick and we've got 4 ways to copy. If you can figure out how to sneak a third copy of Snack Time in the deck,
Mhm.
I highly suggest you doing it. This card is very, very, very good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially with any means necessary.
Yeah.
Is very
For sure.
good. It's one of the good ones.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Any thoughts?
I think that's pretty much it. I
Alright.
like where it's going. Like the foundations were the hardest part for me to kind of get a hold of because everything's good and everything has a reason to be in the deck. So
Yeah, agreed. Agreed fully.
because you have like 12 other foundations that could also have spots, but
Easily.
they're all
We're
fighting
not
for
even
the same
playing
spot.
high value
Yeah.
targeted forcing surrender, or there's no face shield in your deck, right?
Mhm.
And those
Yeah.
cards like get to exist inside of your discard pile, or
Mhm.
in your sideboard or whatever. Like
Yeah.
possibly. I'm not even positive.
Mhm.
All right, man.
Yeah.
We'll stay on the line long enough for me to shoot the list over, and we'll catch you next time. Okay.
All right. I appreciate it.
All right,
See you,
welcome.
Nets.
Peace.